We're back like we never left, and this time it is state of the matters. Now let's take a look at trending stories making headlines across Nigeria. Despite fresh talks, PDP crisis remains unresolved. Alex Otti, Abia government has no Godfather. It belongs to the people. Following Tinubu's royal visit, Lagos ports get £746 million UK deal. I am Kasitoni. We'll be right back after this break. Joining us now to break down these headlines is Ugochukwu Ifeanyi and Kings Ojalo. Good to have you, Ugochukwu.
Kasi, good to see you. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend to you.
Our Muslim Ummah, meaning our Muslim brothers and sisters all over the globe, especially those in Nigeria, we say Barakah de Salah, Happy Eid. This is what they call the Lesser Hajj. That means, you know, we have Easter and we have Christmas, which is the bigger celebration. So in the celebration of the Muslim faithfuls, this is what they call the Lesser Hajj. So we out there, Cassie, while I was coming to work, it was a colorful sight to behold.
Okay.
You know, all the open spaces, the schools, and wherever they are, you know, they're having their Eid prayer. That's what they call it.
And is that the reason why you're putting on white?
Yes,
colorful
I'm
events.
To familiarize and also to you know, give a sense of belonging to what we are celebrating.
But Nigeria is not in good shape, so you shouldn't be wearing white.
No, the only thing is that we have leaders that don't think much about us. It's not about God. I've told you they opt for the opting time, Cassie, that God bless Nigeria tremendously. It's only our leaders, but it will not take away our joy, because this is the joy we have in our, you know, cultural and religious differences, which they call unity and diversity. It's very colorful out there, and even with the scarcity of petrol, with the scarcity of cash and all what,
they are still celebrating,
and there are smiles on the children's faces. They are wearing new clothes, and it's celebration all around.
Well, you look amazing, by the way.
Go to one of my friends' house and share the ram with them.
All right, you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you, Cassie.
And good to have you, Ojalo. Always very serious. Even today that is a Friday, you're still nodding tie. Haba.
Of course.
Loosen up a bit,
that
you
is
know.
Professionalism.
Yes, I agree with you.
And it's good to see my friend
Kings is always nice to be with you.
And you've been missed.
Yes, well, he has been doing a tremendous job, I must confess.
Okay, so who is going first?
I will go first.
Yes, let's start with you.
Exactly, so let me take the shots.
Okay, so we'll start with you. So despite the PDP crisis that's been trying to be resolved, their members are refusing to compromise on key leadership position, they seem to prioritize personal ambition. Now, in this context, do you think that the 2027 presidential ticket that has been zoned to the south will still stand?
Cassie, you know, this PDP issue is self-inflicted, and even till now, you can see when they have been given a new leaf, a new check to write upon, they are still dig-darling, and that's exactly what politicians do, because politics is a game of interest. But in Nigeria, it's a game of personal interest. When your interest is not captured, you don't look at the larger interests of the party and the people in order to compromise. When you want to come to a round table for resolving an issue amicably, you have to be very open. For you, there should be a give and take. It should not be the way I want it. So there should be a give and take. But where you don't have that kind of understanding, that's why it's still dragging after 2 weeks that the judge
has given their ruling.
Yes, who gave the judgment in who had their case in the appeal court after the nullification of their Congress held in Oyo State, where Turaki emerged as the chairman of the PDP. You know, there was Omar Damagu who succeeded the Yochia Ayo, and from there, the Damagu acted on acting capacity for a very long time, and there was a problem, and they need to have a Congress, which the Wike faction disagreed. So they went to court to challenge that particular Congress. So when they challenged it, the appeal court now ruled that the Oyo State High Court should not have affirmed that Congress to go on, because not that, you know, the Supreme Court, many people always talk about the Supreme Court having ruled that the internal crisis of a particular party is purely their business. But while the Wike faction is having the upper hand now, is because you recall that the former Adamawa State Governor, Lamido, wanted to contest for that chairmanship under the faction of Sheyi Makinde and Umar Adamagu. He was refused to buy the form, to expression of interest form. That one now is no longer a party affair, no longer internal party affair. It is now infringing on the fundamental human rights of a party man, which he has to challenge in the court. So Nigerians should not mix this up. The court is not meddling in the affairs of whoever occupies the seat of PDP, but it was hinged on that denial of Lamido. But if Nigerian politicians know what they are doing, you use the delegates to outsmart this person. Hence, you know that the delegates are on your side. Allow the man to purchase his expression of interest form, which is more money in the purse of the PDP, and then allow him to come there and mess himself up. But you now denied him of his fundamental human right and his electoral right to be voted for and to stand to vote. So you technically denied him, and he now went to court. And the court said you cannot deny a member of a political party who is a duly registered member paying his dues from contesting or expressing his intention to contest. He thought it was Rivers State where Wike bought form for everybody. Then the person now went to court, because it had been happening in Nigeria where they always prevent people from, you know, expressing their interest in vying for elections. So in this time, it now hooked PDP, which is the Damagu faction, and the produced Turaki, on the neck. So now, what the learned judge did was to allow PDP go and take this period and see if people can come together and resolve your differences, because it's still a party matter, which is not judice. It is not for the judiciary to reconcile them.
Yeah,
so,
because they are old enough to, have a peaceful dialogue.
And you have a party constitution. You now jettison your constitution, jettison your electoral act, and even the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 as altered. You understand? So you now do that because you want to show muscle or power, as they say it in Nigeria. At the end of the day, it's backfiring. And that has put Wike, the Makinde faction expelled Wike. All those things now has come to naught. Because at the end of the day, Wike is fully back, and his own faction is the one that is in a position of advantage. Those people now are disadvantaged, the position of weakness. They can't stand anything. So they are now coming to beg cap in hand for Wike to reconcile with them. And your question you just asked about them not being able to resolve their positions is because maybe the positions they want, the Wike faction don't want to give to them. So what they will do is that for now, PDP cannot don't have that political standing to present a presidential candidate. And that's what Wike is doing there. Because having denied him in 2023, he wants to make sure that PDP comes back only after 2027. Because I've been telling you here that PDP will not die. PDP will continue to dig darling until after 2027, when Wike has achieved his aim of returning Tinubu, who protected him. Kasi, let me make this final analysis. Come to think about it, if Wike did not play smart into the hands of Tinubu, what will be the political relevance of Nyesom Wike in Nigeria today? Assuming Atiku won, or somebody that he did not play politics with won in Nigeria, what will be the fate of Nyesom Wike and his group?
He will always find his way. They know how to go about it.
What we are talking about is politics of interest, and he has played it, is favoring him. But PDP will not produce a presidential candidate that Wike will be alive to give them oxygen, political oxygen to breathe, to be able to form an opposition that will challenge Tinubu. You not do it. Anything they are doing is to the favor of Wike. If it is not favoring Wike, that reconciliation will not stand.
Okay, King, so thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Let's hear from you, Kings.
my colleague has quite spoken most of my mind, but I still want to quite disagree with one or two statements he made, and also.
No, you don't have to disagree with his own statement. Just make your own point.
And that is the point I want to make.
Yes,
so
don't
you
disagree.
allow me make my point.
Yes,
when
make
I say
your point, but
disagree,
don't disagree.
disagreement
Just
is
make
part
your
of
point.
the points. So you see, I really like the fact that you talked about the former governor of is it Adamawa State?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lamido.
Lamido. Yes, I could recall when Lamido went ahead and wanted to purchase the chairmanship for under the said Sheyi Makinde faction, and it was denied. I think I was able to calculate one or two reasons which he was denied, probably because he was suspected to want to, was having a backup from the opposition.
Okay, anti-party
activities, which my colleague has failed to stated that Yesu Wike has been engaging on. Now you talked about Yesu Wike having the power. Yes, I agree, because he has been backed up by the Court of Appeal, and recently, even when he was suspended by the Sheyi Makinde faction and Turaki-led faction, which the convention was held in Ibadan last year. And if you look at it, I think this month on the 29th
and 30th.
Yes, the Wike faction are planning to hold their convention, but has also been told by the court that they must settle their differences before such. But let us state the fact. First of all, Wike is not ready to back up. And when I mean he's not ready to back up, he's not ready to back up in the sense of using the platform to campaign for our dear President Tinubu with his renewed hope agenda. And this is where the whole fault lies, and that is what a lot of individuals are stating to notice here. Okay, we know that Wike has been on the front line of PDP for a quite number of times, yes, but for the last time I checked, he's not the chairman, and I don't even think he has interest of becoming the chairman of the political party. If he had look, the whole thing would have been, if Wike, it would have been better Wike was the chairman of the party. That would have, you understand, leaving other political activities and just make yourself the chairman of PDP party. To even if you want to use that platform to contest for our dear President Tinubu, it would be more better than you being the FCT minister and you are under the forum and you want to use a forum that the president is not to campaign for him. Come on, I think it's pretty unfair.
It's coalition.
And yes, that is what we are saying here. And you don't expect other co-hosts of that party, other individuals, other apprentices of that party
to agree with you.
That is the simple. Let's be honest with ourselves. Looking at the chairman, Wike brought out as in their own faction, that is the Abdullahi Mohammed, which is not even well recognized at the earlier on. Even the Turaki-led faction, where the former chairman by the name, please, can you remind me?
Omar Damagu. It was Wike that brought him too. And he was relatively unknown. And then he was just a PDP chairman.
Just as you said, Northwest. Just as you said, that I said I will agree with you. Yes, indeed. As it stands now, PDP doesn't have what it takes.
No, they can't.
You understand? I don't think, except God himself.
Zoning it to the southeast doesn't mean anything. So they are not playing to the gallery.
And check even the southeast. Check out which candidates when everyone has defected to either ADC or APC.
We still have good luck, Jonathan, who hasn't defected.
Good luck with what?
Jonathan.
Well,
still in the party.
Yes, I quite agree with you. But let me tell you, if good luck, Jonathan, tend to have interest in coming out as a flag bearer or have any, yes, he's still in the party, he's still in the forum, being a statesman, but if you look at the state, he's so relentless on the matter. I think
he's actually waiting for them to resolve their crisis before he comes up.
People will only vote for Jonathan on sentiment and bias. Jonathan is not a politician.
Yes, but it would have been Jonathan trying to work make settlement in the party, trying to.
Yes, but we are not seeing his hand. You are really right.
We are not seeing his
hand. So what is the position of Jonathan in trying to resolve all these issues?
Okay, we are going to come back to this particular discussion. We are behind schedule, so we'll move very quickly to Alex Otti. Alex Otti made a statement that Abia State doesn't have Godfather. In the light of that claim, does Alex Otti actually have what it takes to pilot the affairs of Abia State independently?
Of course, he has what it takes, despite he might not really have some suitable backings. I'm talking about individuals, high stakeholder personnel who initially are supposed to, be by his side in this race of, making sure that Abia comes to light permanently. Governor Alex Otti, to me, I think he's a God-given governor to that state. And unfortunately, he has so many obstacles who are even his brothers, let me put it that way. But nevertheless, as an individual, we also have obstacles. There must be an antagonist towards your race, someone who is there to antagonize you. So it's if you relent or you back up that makes you a failure. So I think Governor Alex Otti has really shown what it takes to be a governor. And looking at it in his mandate, it has really brought joy to the faces of the people of Abias. And if you look, there was a recent interview by our dear popular anchor el-rufai, who drove to the governor's house in his community, and he asked one or two questions which I picked, and I discovered that indeed this man is really working head to head, and is someone that is not into is not buying the aspect of trying to prove anybody right currently, even when he have the chance, because we've seen the looting of the past governors and ministers in the state, but he shows no remorse about it.
It will be a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Which he just got stated.
Yes, it will be a distraction.
So from that alone,
people are holding them.
Exactly. From that statement,
I'll get to you.
From that statement alone, you definitely know this man is really is in a cause. You understand? So anybody trying to make sure that his administration is wiped off, claiming, what did they call that? Their forum again? Is it
our team? Our team.
I think it's a waste of time. The energy you are using to create our team to bring down the administration that is favoring the well-being of these people, why don't channel that energy to something remarkable for your own senatorial district, your zones and thereabouts? You know who I'm talking about. I don't need to start mentioning, they know themselves. So what am I trying to say is that...
Let me just act, I don't know.
Okay, it's good that you don't know. But let me see. Alex Otti, I think from all I see, it's up to the people. Okay? Forget the fact whoever is being a critic in this aspect. Alex Otti should stick to his people, because whoever the people channels their mind to, it's what that is the outcome of all of it. Because if the people show full support, full solidarity to his effort towards making that state stand alight, definitely I don't think Alex Otti has issues, despite your senators who are supposed to be backing you, because you are not in the same political platform, or because they are not really benefiting from your administration as a city governor. It shouldn't freak him. You understand? And if you're looking at the stature of Alex Otti, you see that he's fearless, and he's also making sure that state come to light.
All right, thank you so much, Ojalo Ugochukwu. While Ojalo was talking, I was hearing you were putting in one or two. Now,
yes, because he was making an informed analysis, and these are what him as a political watcher and those who follow the trend of politics, you realize it when somebody is talking from the position of knowledge. So, and if you're also knowledgeable in that, you know that the person is laying the card as he should. So, going by what politics is, according to what they defined for us in the books, government of the people, by the people and for the people, according to Abraham Lincoln, which have not changed, if my memory serves me right, is what politics is all about, and that is what Otti is saying. But in another breath, I have to tell you that Otti has spoken like a politician. Exactly. He knows that politics are not played on the surface. Politics is not a tea party. It is not the one that our dear president was invited to the UK for a royal banquet.
We'll get to that.
Yes, it's not that one. I'm using it to tell you what politics is all about. If you want to know politics in Nigeria, I've asked people that they should study about, before we are born, they talk about Zikism and other. You talk about the political sagacity of Wike and the Wikeism, how he plays his politics. So politics is not a child's play. So, and he knows it. Otti knows it deep down him that what he has made is just to let the people feel relevant as a third force the people that backed him to win his election. Let me tell you how politics is played, and Otti knows it. Otti has a godfather. We know the people that sponsored, that have been behind Otti, even while he was contesting and failing. We know that for you to win election in Nigeria, is not going for a tea party. You have to throw money lavishly. You have to also mobilize. That mobilization is money. For people, especially the people of Southeast, to leave what they are doing to come out to support you. Either they have seen your credibility, they have seen your aptitudeness,
and contributions.
They have seen what you are capable of doing, your contribution in your community, and what you have done. They will now follow you, which is what they did for Otti. See, Otti knows that there are stakeholders. Like Ojalo was saying that there are not many people that are backing him. We know that most of the PDP stalwarts are with Alex Otti. Well, the person of the former BOT or the BOT chairman of the Turaki faction, who is Adolfo Zumabra, the former Senate president, is standing solidly behind him. There's one man, his name is eluding me now, from Bende. I told you, Abia State is my second home. I stayed there for up to 9 years. So there is one man who is a grassroots politician. You see, that was the people that made all Joseph Okalu whom he is. And today, the man is pinching tent with Otti. He doesn't have a political party. If you are doing well in APC, he joins you to produce the person as a governor. If you are not doing well, he backs up. He's a pure businessman. So he throws his money where his heart is. And he is now with Otti. These are the people that are political godfathers in. So nobody crowns himself a king. Otti should know that. You have political kingmakers. And those political kingmakers are called the political godfathers. Because Otti cannot be in his home and mobilize people in Igbere, mobilize people even in not just Okalo's senatorial district. He will have people that will be singing his praise, that will take the message to them. Then his media team will help him to amplify whatever he's doing. Let him not say, people are seeing it. Nigerians may be seeing, they don't know. You have to drum it to the ear of the people that this is what our government is doing. You have to spend money on a lot of PR. That is what Otti should know. So let him not bank on. Now, you know how election of 2023 went. Many people didn't know that those surprises will come out. The traditional Nigerian politicians relaxed with hope that it's business as usual. But now that you are calling about our team and all those, because they wake up, before they wake up from the bed, the plane has taken off. That is how Otti came. So those people who has failed the people, and now Otti is performing to their own shame.
And they're busy criticizing.
You understand? So they have to criticize, because if you have ruled the state for 24 years, you did not achieve anything, and somebody is doing it in less than 3 years. You know, it's still for 2 months.
Yeah.
Before it will be 3 years.
Yes.
And look at what he has done, and it's very, very glaring to the blind and very loud to the deaf. So if I were to be in the shoes of the person my friend didn't want to mention, Odus Okalo, Benjamin Kano,
But I still want to know this.
yes, I'm telling you now. Benjamin Kano, Odus Okano, Okezip as the worst governor that any state have had. Then T.A. Otti, who is the greatest looter in Nigeria, his own didn't get to that one of the accusing el-rufai of. His own is 500 and something billion. The highest graft in Nigeria. Only one person. The ones they can verify you. What of the ones we can't verify?
Our dear Oji,
you know, T.A. Oji. And those Okalu who just escaped being behind bars.
Exactly.
He should be in the prison.
Sorry to
so if he's in the prison, will he be coming to talk to people like that?
Let me recommend someone. You know, I really want to also recommend the INEC chairman.
Yes, Professor Mrs. Nene.
Yes, he made it. You see,
he made it possible.
She made it possible.
Yes, he made it possible
for making that election not to be rigged in the favor
because the
of
people
those
also stood with her.
Exactly.
The people stood with her.
She is to be applauded.
Yes. Where will Otti should be praying? See, Cassie, there is how Nigerian politicians, even Otti, who is talking about this now, is playing behind game with Tinubu and APC.
Yes,
of course.
That
what is it? He's supporting Tinubu from the back door.
But it was recently brought to
So why is it telling us
Hold on a bit.
Yes.
He said that Tinubu is his boss. That he's not supporting Tinubu, but he has to. He's only in support of the fact that he removed the fuel subsidy.
The type of support that Soludo gave now, because in the inaugural speech of Soludo, he was thanking APC. He said they are progressives, Progressive Grand Alliance, all Progressive Grand Alliance, and APC, which is also progressive. He said he's thanking all the progress. So you see how they play behind the scene after you now accuse Wike of antipathy. Which one are you doing? So all of them are hinting you. I don't know whether you heard that Deleke supporting Tinubu openly, who is in accord. Everybody is talking about, because if you no agree, make I speak our own language. If you no agree, they go send the next chairman. We'll go announce and tell you, say make you go to court. Exactly. So that's the problem. So Otti should be praying that they shouldn't give him somebody that will say after the election, declare me. Let the other person go to court, and you know what it means in Nigeria.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ugochukwu. While you were analyzing, you made mention of Tinubu enjoying royal banquet. Talking about royal banquet, this royal banquet has actually brought a reform to Nigeria, because the UK has actually signed £746 million deal with Nigeria. That's a Lagos port. So.
Meaning what? What does that?
That question should actually be directed to Tinubu.
What has that got to do with an average Nigerian who is suffering in abject poverty, who is below $500 in a month?
But why would the Lagos port be the center of this deal?
See, you asked me
because
a
there are
question.
other ports in.
I'm laying my premises because in Nigeria, Lagos price herself or itself as the 6th most largest economy in Nigeria in Africa. And now, what is making Lagos tick? They forgot. People are saying Tinubu did well in Lagos. Tinubu did this one in Lagos. That doesn't need
Nigerian money.
This one. But when he now came into Nigeria, he's not replicating what he did in Lagos. They forgot that Lagos was Nigerian federal capital for a very long time.
Yeah, before it was moved to Abuja.
Most of the things built in Lagos are with federal money. The roads you see in Lagos, all the estates and all the hybrid buildings you have seen is with federal money. That's Nigerian money in Lagos. Then you are now talking about Tinubu, who just came as governor to have transformed Lagos. How? Ikeja is still what I know Ikeja to be. You understand? The airport was refurbished and rehabilitated by the late Buhari. The airport that what do you call it? Murtala Mohammed. Because I was in Murtala Mohammed airport for almost God knows how long I was crisscrossing. Once you land, you know that you're in Nigeria. You use paper to be funny yourself. That's what we put in the departure and arrival. So that is Lagos that Tinubu governed for 8 years. So what we are talking about is that people that applaud him, are we applauding UK because it is them that gave us independence, or because after Ibrahim Babangida in 1992, who was invited by the late Queen, this is the second time a Nigerian president is being invited for a royal banquet.
That was in 1989.
Yeah,
after 37 years.
So now you find out that. Thank you for that
correction.
For that correction. Now see, you are signing a port bill. What do you call it? A contract.
Yeah.
But the most of the things are coming from Nigeria to the UK. Because they are making Nigeria a dumping ground. All the European countries make Africa. They are dumping ground. What they don't want. That Cassie, before we started making use of ATM machines here, it was the ones that are outdated. They have outdated it before they gave us computer. Here, those analog we are using, they have phased it out. Don't like they build houses in phases. Once you are growing from Kada, you are in level 10, maybe before you get to level 15, they now push you to where your rank is. And other people are occupying the other houses. That's how they build. So if they are giving us 746 million pound deal, for me, they are getting more. Because it is what they manufacture there. they are looking for where to dump it. Then what of the dry spot that Muhammadu Buhari's administration created in Kaduna State? Who is talking about it? Where you now empty those other things that are landing in Lagos that have not been cleared. They give them maybe 2 weeks or 1 week to clear their goods. If you don't clear it, you now be going to Kaduna to clear it. So what happens to One Airport?
Okay.
What happened to Soludo just supported Tinubu before he become his own president of the first Igbo extraction in 2039, as he said, because they have the longevity of life. You know, so now those other people that there is sport in Oron, we have a very large expanse of sea. This in Oron, who will remember that Calabar was the first Nigerian capital. The federal government, all these consulates, all these embassies that were in Lagos, they left for Abuja, but they still have presence in Lagos. All the big oil companies, they are mining in South. And South in Niger Delta, but the offices are in Abuja and Lagos. So who is deceiving who? And the Kasi, this has shown that this country is not ready to be one. Because if you can go and get Fortinkan Island and Apapa Wharf, for them only to be, renovated and expanded, that means you're only talking about meism. I'm seeing meism here, egocentrism and selfishness, self-centeredness on the part of our leaders. When Muhammadu Buhari left, God rest his soul, was there, he revolutionized from Jonathan. He made sure that he linked the one that passed through his house to Niger Republic. But South and Southeast have none. Is that the kind of leaders we continue to produce in this country? So Tinubu wants, when he retires from Lagos, he now become the doyen. Jagaban. The doyen. No, he will now answer the doyen of Lagos, what he has brought to Lagos State, and peradventure enriching Southwest. Nigeria is still fragmented and factionalized. If a president like this, who calls himself a Democrat, can go and myopically, watch my word, myopically, that's thinking about self, about a very miniature part of the country, where development have been all this while, and we also want the development to be there. That means we should there is something seriously fundamental about us and our leaders. Where you left South, you are talking about the dredging of the river in Imo State. You're talking about the dredging of the Niger. They have built the second Niger bridge.
All right,
for them now,
yes, I just summarize.
For them now, for us to forget about the dredging of River Niger that have been promised us from Abacha's regime. Nobody talked about it. Buhari came and built a second Niger bridge. Is there ship passing from there? What about people at the Kogi, Aziz, and that Benue, River Benue? So we should think about Nigeria. We should not be thinking about let it benefit me, because what I see here, no matter what the benefit is for Nigeria, it is still to a geopolitical zone and a very small microscopic fraction of Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Ugochukwu. Over to you, Ojalo. Earlier on you made mention that Tinubu, I was trying to actually defend him though, but not like really defend him. And you said that Tinubu's trip is for selfish gain. Now, let's hear. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I could recall late last year when the president tried to give all states, which that has a seaport already, 1 billion in order to renovate their seaport and construct most of talking about the seaport, the abandoned seaport in Calabar. I also saw when the people were jubilating. Our president wants to opt in now. We've not still had good result concerning it. As my colleague said, you have stated so many things that I want, but let me just add to it before we round up. You see, making Lagos the only center of distribution and importation, is you should know that indeed the president has an agenda. We have over 6 or 5 seaports in the whole of Nigeria, including one that you did not mention in my state. There's what is this? Yes, Igelegele Seaport. Unfortunately, the former Governor Baseki, when he was campaigning, you could hear him opening his mouth wide.
Okay, talking about
make sure I distribute over something 200 billion naira for this. And if you look at that Igelegele Seaport, it's supposed to be the sister of Lekki Seaport, the one that Dangote is already
using. Yes.
is supposed to, that is for those who are not able to for those in Edo State or South who want to easily get their parcels, goods and thereabouts. So locate, because you should realize that Lagos is, if I'm not mistaken, the smallest state in Nigeria.
Yes, it's more of water.
As a matter of, how then do you still want to occupy that state, even with the highest population in the country? You should see that our president, I don't know if it's probably his advisors that are really making him making the wrong decision. I think we should, most times we blame, but let us look at those cabinets around him. Maybe they are the one actually giving him wrong ideas. And even giving you wrong ideas as a president, you should be able to think through, make your own research yourself. We have a lot of seaport. Okay, look at the honest seaport now. And River State happen to be one of the commercial hub of this country. And you are neglecting that. I've had a whole lot of people complain about that. And you want to get your goods from probably China, and then you have to look at the expenses you spend going to Lagos
and then transport it again back.
And most times, if you are not lucky, the trailer will fall on.
That's what I'm saying. Transport it by road. Why can't you just
renovate? Okay, looking at the amount of money, you said how much? It was it
746.
Sir, divide that money is enough to renovate the whole city in Nigeria. So how come are you channeling that funds to just say Apapa is already functioning as we speak? Apapa is functioning. Then what renovation are you? See, honestly speaking, I don't know. I think this country need a marshal. That is what I see. Someone that will really, take care and discipline these people.
Rule us by fiat.
Honestly, because the president don't know what he's doing as he stands.
We don't need, in this matter, we don't need we need Koboko.
The president don't know what he's doing. Honestly speaking, I was expecting him going to the Prime Minister of Britain. So I let him address. Yes, he talked about insecurity. Kudos for that. Or at least there are other seaports. And I tell you, it's just because you don't want the economy of other states or region to flow just as Lagos. That is what I see here. How long will Lagos continue to? And if you look at that state, it's so hectic. You understand? Anybody living in Lagos currently, I think they are living in hell. That is what I see. Because I was one day and it was inconvenience for me. So what am I trying to say? I think the president should have a routine. There is room for readjusting. Probably, I think that was the mistake. So I think he should
maybe over excitement of
I think probably he wasn't on his right form when he was saying that.
No, but they have signed the agreement. You saw the
yes, I think even
he signed, but I over excitement.
And the money is earmarked for this particular.
I think it's advisable he channels that funds to other seaports. There are a lot of
that will be very logical.
Calabar is there, just as you stated, the first capital city of Nigeria. I think it will be able to boost other state economy. How can you just make Lagos be the overriding state of all states in Nigeria? You say we should have one Nigeria. So
all right, that's it for today's edition of State of the Matters. This is the most amazing section ever. Thank you so much, Ugochukwu.
Thank you for having
us. And to you, our amazing viewers, many thanks for tuning in. I am Kasitoni, reminding you to stay informed and stay ahead. Do well to join us next time for more breaking news across Nigeria. Do have a lovely day and happy Salah.